Hello, welcome back to another example of map. In this example, I'll show you that how to insert object inside a map. In Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, we often work with map objects to store key and value pairs. But what happens when the values are object like like the custom classes and you want to persist or transfer the map? X++ give us map.pack method and one static method, that is the create method, to help serialize and deserialize the map. But when your map contains objects as a value, that's a catch. So in that case, what's the issue? By default, X++ container used behind the scene, the pack method, do not support the object type like class instances or records. So in this example, as you can see in the first of the line, we are creating a map with the same key like a string and the value like a class. So here instead of integer, in our previous video we used as integer, but in this scenario we are using the class, and we have created another variable map restored. When we will restore the data, we will use this particular variable, and we need to pack the original map into this container. So that's why this variable is required. And in this scenario, we are using only one key, or we are creating for the single item. In this scenario, as you can see, we have taken another variable which will be the key for the map, and for the data, the value part, we will create a object. That is why the data type is class, and on this particular class, the class name is my data. So we have created different class, my class, in the project. You can see that class name is there, and it takes two different values. One is a string and one is integer. So first one is the amount and this one is the description. So if we'll open this particular class, as you can see, this class is having two different instance variable, amount and description. Through the new method, we are instantiating the value of the amount and description, and we have a different method, that is the pack method, which is of the type container. So it will return the pack value, amount and description in this way. And we have another static method of the type my data, which returns a class type of data, which takes the container and it will return the object like this way. And as you can see, this is the return new my data type of class type of object, and which will give you the value, amount and the description. So it will act like a unpacking. So it will take a container and it will return a object like this way. And after that, we have another method to string, which will concatenate the amount and description, and it will help you to show you the result in the front end. So these are the methods that we want to show. But remember that in this case, we don't need to use the unpack method over here. You have to use this type of static method only, create method. Okay, so now in this part, as you can see, we have the data, that means a new object of the my data class, and as a key we can pass the item 1, and for the value we can pass the object of the my data class. So it will contain 100 and test object, okay, as a value. After that, we are using the pack method, and pack method will pack the map into a container. So this one is nothing but a container. And after that, again we are restoring through the static method create. So this one recreate the map from the packed container. So in this case, we need to pass the packed map, which is a container, because you can see that it is taking the create method is taking the container. So that's why the pack map is nothing but a container which is already packed. Okay, and after that we are using the lookup method map restore dot lookup. So at this point of time this one is the map and this one is nothing but the map, and with the map we can use the lookup method, and here we are specifying the key over here for item 1 over here, and it will gets its value restored data. So it will get our object of the my data class. So that is why we are specifying the my data, and it will contain both the 100 and test object. So now we have two different value. This one is containing the 100 and the test objects. So in this case we are calling the two string method so that it prints the original object, and after restoring the data from the packed to unpacked, and then we need to print so that we can see that it is actually packing and unpacking in a very efficient way. So that's why we want to see the restored data as well. So that's why we want to compare both the original and restored one. So that's why we have given two printf statement. Now I hope now you understood this one. The pack method to convert the object state into a container, the unpack method, or here the unpack, not the unpack method, here the create method to restore the object state from the container. So now let me debug the code and I'll show you how it look like. Okay, so let me click on the start button. Now you can see our class running. Now it will hit the debugger point. So as you can see now we are in the main method. Now we'll go one by one. Now as you can see that it is a key, and if we'll execute this one you can see that the data one, if we'll expand it you will get amount 100 and the description a test object. Okay, if we'll go little down, now it will in the original map you will get this item and its corresponding value. As you can see it is showing the my data. Why? Because it is showing the class name and the value or the object data itself, which is amount 100 and description is test object. So you can also add more number of objects, but you have to do one by one. Now as you can see in the packed map it is showing the object. If we'll show the data, as you can see this one is the version, this one is the keys data type, this one is the data type for the value. So for the class the value is 10, and this one is the number of elements in the map. So we have only one object, so that's why it is showing one only, and it is showing the key here, and for the class name it is showing my data, and in the object 2 if we'll expand it it will show object 2. Why it is showing 2? Because it is having two data. The first one is 100 and the second one is test object. So this way our packed map will show the data. Okay, and then if we'll call the create method, so if we'll give the debugger point over here, so let me give the debugger point over here and let me go back again, and then I'll use this particular F11 button to go inside this create method. So if we'll go over here in the C, you can see that it is flashing the object, correct? So in this object it is having the 100 and test objects as expected, and it will now unpack and create one object. So in this case it will return an object with the value amount and the description over here. Okay, and if we'll go, and it will return this particular variable the object itself. So I have to click one more time so that it reflects here as well. So in this particular map it is giving the key as well as values, and the value is nothing but the object itself, as you can see. In the similar fashion, if you see the original map, the same way it will show the restored one as well. Okay, and from this restored from this map, we can use the lookup method to retrieve the object through the key. Okay, so in that case our key is item 1, so if you pass the key over here in the lookup method, so it will give you the object itself that we have passed. So in that is why we have specified the my data, the class name, and the variable. This is nothing but the object of the my data, so it will produce the object. So if we'll click over here, you'll be able to see that this is nothing but the object like the data 1 that we have created earlier. So in the similar fashion, as you can see, amount and description. So if we'll go a little bit above, and if we'll check the my data object that we have created, the data 1, this one is the showing the same thing because both are objects, so that is why both are same. Now if you want to print uh, through the toString method, we already have the toString method, so we will use this one to print the both amount and the description in a uh, well looked manner. Okay, so the first one will be the original object and the second one will be the restored object. So let me click, and as you can see, the original amount 100, description test object, and the restored one, it is showing the restored amount 100, description is test object. So it is giving the same thing. Okay, so in this way you can do your thing, and you can pass the custom object in your map, and you can store it and you can pack it, and then you can unpack it through the static create method. Okay, so let me conclude here. So the use of pack and the create in your custom classes to serialize and deserialize, this is a crucial when your map holds the complex data, not just integer, string, etc. It can contain any type of object. Without it, your map won't restore properly after packing. So when to use this type of coding? So when you are storing map data in the temp.tb while caching the serialized data during the interclass or intra-layer data transfer in Dynamics 365 F&O. So this time you can use this. So in the final conclusion, I want to say that using the pack map.pack method and the static create method of the map or the custom class with objects in X++ is not difficult once you understand how the packing works. Just make sure every object in the map, whether key or value, knows how to serialize and how to deserialize using a pack and the create method. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. If you have any question, you can write it in the comment section. I'll try to solve your problem as soon as possible. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye. So if you'll continue it, you can see the both values in the front end as well. So thank you again. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.